Hey brand builder, welcome to the second part of our growth series. And in the growth series, I'm talking about what do you need to do in order for you to get from zero to your first $1 million in your product-based business. But in this particular series, I'm going to focus on now that you've launched your product, we're going to talk about what do you need to do from launch to your first 100K. If you haven't watched the Zero to Launch video, I'm going to link it up above this video and you can go and watch it so that you can follow along. So now I'm super excited. You've launched your product. You've had a few people who've bought your product. So you've validated your concept and now you're thinking about it as a business that you can take it to the next level, particularly a business that can help you replace your full-time income at this time because you're still doing this part-time. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process that you need to follow in order for you to get to your first 100K in revenue sales and do it with so much ease and so much enthusiasm as you go through this new phase of your life and of your business. The first thing I really want to talk about is the core desires I have for you in this stage. And the reason I do this is because I am a product of a small business owner and my parents owned a small business in Nairobi, Kenya, and that business, I've seen it through all the stages. And that's the reason why I'm highly passionate about what I do, because as I was growing up in my teenage years, I saw my parents really struggle to grow their business. And the reason they struggle to grow their business is because at that point in time, the markets opened up. And what does that mean? People could travel to China and be able to source products and bring them into Kenya. What that meant was people like my parents who had built and established a recognizable brand in Kenya started facing stiff competition and people would come in and replicate the exact same things. The market got noisy and my mom and dad just did not know what they needed to do in order to move to the next level. And granted, at that age, my brother and I and my sister were just literally growing up, going to school. In the Kenyan economy, you pay for everything. And as you see your mom crying every day, trying to figure out how to grow, it just took that to heart, and I wanted to know what is it that big brands do in order for me to help my parents establish their business. And let's go back to that story. What happened afterwards is they hired a consultant, and the consultant advised them to focus on building a brand because people buy brands. Branding is why people buy you. Marketing is how people find you. And since then, they've been working for about 15, 18 years today to try and establish a brand that can stand the test of time. And sure enough, that's exactly what they're doing today in their late 50s. So my core desire for you is I want you to dominate the exact same way my parents dominated. And how do you dominate? You dominate because of two things. The first thing is positioning. Positioning basically means how you stand out in a complex and noisy market. And how you position your brand is based off your messaging. Really, what is the singular idea, the singular concept you're trying to communicate to your audience? What is it that makes you distinct? Instead of focusing on trying to figure out what makes you different, you think about what makes you distinct. Because when you lean into distinction, you tap into the inner why as to what makes your product more unique, and that is what you bring to life. Once you have that good messaging and you have been positioned really well, then you get to work on your pricing, which then allows you to have a healthy profit margin. And when you have a healthy profit margin, you're highly profitable. So when you combine profitability and positioning, then you get the chance to dominate your space and stand the test of time. I know you've just launched your product and you're like, why do I need to think about this? I just need to focus on selling the next few products. The reason you need to think about this is because you've got to have a solid foundation in order for you to succeed. Another question I often get from clients is, what is it that the big brands do that the small brands don't do? Honestly, what I can tell you is they really focus on having a solid foundation from the ground up, which is what allows them to continue staying because they're not jumping from one strategy to another. They have their audience dialed in, they have their messaging dialed in, they have their moments dialed in, and all they're trying to do is find a different way to bring it to life, and that's exactly what I want you to do. Once you've accepted the concept of domination, there's one misconception I want you to do away with, and this is a misconception that you need a huge marketing budget in order to build a sustainable product-based business and get to your first 100K. You don't need that. Why? The reason our product sells like hotcakes is because it's been designed upon a deep understanding of why your customer will buy from you, meaning that your customers need to love it, rave about it, talk about it by word of mouth in order for you to be successful. So whatever budget you have right now, whatever savings you have right now, that is enough. You don't need a huge budget. And now I'm going to give you the strategies and the steps in order for you to maximize what you currently have. So what is the first strategy you need to do? You need to define your product's value proposition. And how do you define your product's value proposition? You ask yourself, why did you create your product? Secondly, what gap are you trying to fill? The reason I'm saying this is because this is going to be the uniqueness and the value that you're going to add into the market. Many people ask me what I use on my face and my skin. I use a skincare product called EO Healing. Y'all can go and check it on Instagram, and I'm also going to link it down the description notes. And she was my client, and one of our core philosophies and one of the core things we worked on was her brand messaging. Why? Because her skincare products help women with highly problematic skin so that they can elevate their confidence and not have to have a complex skincare routine in order to look good. That was her value proposition. So for you, what is your value proposition? Go back to why you created your product, and if you don't have a reason, if you're sourcing your products from a contract manufacturer, ask yourself, what gap are you trying to fill, and really become crystal clear as to what that is and note it down. Once you've done that, the second strategy I want you to lean into is knowing who's your ideal customer, that one person. Why am I saying this one person? Because this one person is going to be your content North Star. It's going to be the person we are creating marketing and messaging material to speak to them. And how do you figure out who's your ideal customer? You think about what is it that they truly want. Why does that customer want it? Why don't they have it now? And what's blocking them from getting it? Ask yourself those 4 questions, because that's going to give you an idea of what you need to be talking about. Because at the end of the day, your marketing should talk to the person that needs the product. Your marketing should articulate the value of your product. And this is a good part because when we are starting, and now that you've launched your product, it's easy to think that you have different customer profiles. And I had this with a client where she came to me and she had 3 different customer profiles. She had a Jenna, a Rose, and a Mary. The reason why she had that is because one profile was leaning more towards sustainability. And what was the product here that I'm talking about? I'm talking about a lunchbox that's dedicated towards kids that's actually stainless steel. So when you think about the lunchboxes, I've articulated it, what's going to lean into your awareness right now is probably the eco-friendliness, the sustainability, and the fact that it's toxin-free and it's not plastic. That is what you would think about. And so because that was what she was trying to push forward, she found herself talking to either somebody who wanted something eco-friendly, somebody who was still using plastics at home, but she was trying to convert them to not use plastics. And then the messaging became so fragmented. And as she was thinking about getting to the 500K mark, she couldn't do it because she was like, how am I even going to create Facebook ads? Because she wanted to do Facebook ads if I'm speaking to 3 different people. And I told her, fundamentally, you should be speaking to one person. And we went down the path of looking at what is it that the customer loves? Why do they want it? What is it that is blocking them from having it? And ultimately, what are they trying to achieve and gain throughout this process? And guess what we discovered? what her customers wanted is a durable lunchbox. And why did they want a durable lunchbox? Because they were sick and tired of buying products from Amazon, and then you're constantly buying them every 60 to 90 days because it's not doing the job. And that was her value proposition, in addition to who her customer is, because she needs something that is sustainable. She's already aware about the stainless steel. She's already aware about the planet-friendly, eco-friendly, but she's not aware of the fact that this lunchbox is durable, and the fact that this lunchbox will save them the multiple lunchboxes they would buy from Amazon. And that is her one ideal customer profile. So for you, go back. What is it that they want? Why do they want it? Why don't they have it now? And what's blocking them from getting it? That is the second strategy. The third strategy here that we're going to talk about is ultimately choosing your product suite. Why do I say this? Because people think that the more products they have, the chances are higher of them being seen and being considered as a brand. But this is the thing. The more products you launch, the more your business becomes complex, and the more that products start diluting each other. They become highly cannibalistic to your core hero product. And I want to demystify why having too many products does not help you. First of all, you create choice paralysis for your customer. They come to your website, they get overwhelmed on what they need to buy and why they need to buy it. The second thing that happens is you tend to stock up a lot of inventory, which means that you're tying all your cash in inventory. When you have a lot of inventory, granted, you're doing this on your own. You're probably doing it as a side hustle as we speak. How are you going to market all those products, right? So give yourself the chance right now to ask yourself, what is that ultimate product collection that I need to have? And how do you define, or how do you figure out that ultimate product collection? You think about your customer's starting point. What is it that they're looking for, and what do they need to have by the end of their journey? So if they have hyperpigmentation, what is a product that will get them from having too much hyperpigmentation to having little to no hyperpigmentation? Like, think about that journey. What do they need in order for them to solve their problem? Then once you have that is a product we're going to focus on in order to build an unforgettable messaging around it. Yes, you're going to hear a lot. Simplifying your product collection suite is what will allow you to move fast, is what will allow your products to have a lot of velocity. It's what will allow you to actually simplify your business and simplify your messaging. Now, because we figured out your ultimate product collection, let's create unforgettable messaging around it. And what does the unforgettable messaging mean? It's the emotion. What is the emotion? What is the desire that is wrapped up in your product? And here I want to give you an exercise to think about these brands. What do you think Louis V sells? What do you think Tesla sells? Like, let me know in the comments, because it's one thing to see how big brands do it, and it's another thing to fully conceptualize what it means for your product. So let's go back. Tesla does not sell cars, it sells innovation. Louis V sells elegance. That is the emotion, because people want that. People want to buy a feeling, people want to buy an experience. So what is the feeling you are selling? What is that experience you're trying to sell? That is what we need to bake around your ultimate product suite collection, so that we can bring that unforgettable messaging. I have a client of mine who sells jewelry. And what is the feeling she is selling? She's selling royalty, right? When you wear her jewelry, you honestly feel like a queen, and it's actually a statement piece. You walk in, and everywhere you go, trust me, I have that jewelry, and everywhere I go, I get stopped. That's what she's selling. I have a client who sells beauty products, and her beauty products are sourced from Africa, meaning she's bringing in the African rituals into the US. So her whole concept is African rituals, like a beauty bath set, a beauty collection to help you get back to the African rituals. So what is that feeling or the experience you're trying to sell? because that is what will get you from the couple sales you've made to the first 100K with simplicity. Like you heard me talk about, I did not mention the things that people or the industry is telling you to do. Your fancy website, your graphics, oh my God, I'm so sorry that you have to do that, but this video has given you exactly what you need to prioritize and exactly what you need to do. And now if you're like, okay, I get it, but I want to take my business to the next level, I really want to invite you to our Accelerator program. Our Accelerator program is a lifetime access marketing and branding program that will teach you how to position your product brand, accelerate your sales, and stand out in a highly saturated market. And what we're going to do in the Accelerator program is, the first thing, we're going to define your brand secret sauce. And your brand secret sauce is going to help you figure out how can you have a competitive advantage and how can we use that secret sauce to bake it into your positioning, your pricing, and your marketing content. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to build brand obsession by creating messaging and marketing collateral that is going to draw in and reel in more of the right customers and help you generate repeat sales. The third thing we're going to do is, because we've worked on the fundamentals, we're going to talk about how do we bring and elevate the experience of your brand. We're going to talk about design elements that stand the test of time. We're going to talk about the personality, the persona of your brand, the feeling. We're going to talk about the colors. And then if you want to design this, I have a designer on hand that you can use, and she's worked with all my clients to bring their brand to life. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is, we're going to help you maximize your sales or accelerate your sales by designing a growth strategy and a sales plan that will help you achieve consistent and sustainable profits and revenue in your business to get you to your first 100K. And many people will ask me, why did I design this program? Because this is a base foundational elements that you have to do in order for you to make your first 100K. And if this is something that you want to do, if this is something you want to become a master at, I'd invite you to click the description down below and schedule a consultation with me, and we'll talk about what you can do for your brand and how this program will help you. This program has created amazing results for many people. It's simplified the journey. It's helped them just create content based on what they have instead of spending more. So come on in and let's build a brand that stands the test of time. And I look forward to seeing you in the other video where I'm going to talk about what do you do from 100K to 500K.